So in this video, I'm going to show you a little bit about the trip that I took to Apache Lake. Now, in full disclosure, I have not explored a lot of this lake. In fact, I've barely scratched the surface. And so really the only thing that I'll be able to show you today is what I actually did here. You know, the trip that I took and where I went and how I kind of made all this come together for myself. So first, let me tell you a little bit about this lake. So Apache Lake is one of the few lakes that sits along the Salt River. So if we come up to if we start here at Roosevelt Lake, which is way up here, which is a very, very large lake. And as we move down the Salt River along here, the very next lake that you'll come to is Apache Lake. And then, of course, as you move further down the Salt River, you get to Canyon Lake right here, and then Saguaro Lake right here. And then, of course, the lower Salt River all along here, which I've done a video on the kayaking, the lower Salt River down here, which is, of course, a very popular spot. Haven't done anything on Saguaro Lake yet, but that's still to come. And then, of course, like I said, Canyon Lake. So Apache Lake is actually, it's a really big lake. It's from the map here, as you look at it, it does look quite narrow, and it isn't very far apart, or very, very wide. But just to give you some perspective here, so that's the marina right there. So if we just kind of measure along here, you know, the full length of this lake, if you paddle from the marina all the way down to the dam over here, you know, you're about 5 miles. And just for a little bit of comparison, let's go take a look at Canyon Lakes. I know that's one that everybody's very familiar with. So the widest spot in Canyon Lake is, you know, just about 3/4 of a mile. So it's, you know, it's a very, very long lake, and that's just that direction. And the reason why I pulled that direction is because that's the only direction I've explored. I've never gone this way before. When you hear that, you may think, well, how come more people aren't going out to Apache Lake? How come it's not a more popular lake to go and visit? And certainly people that have boats and are very familiar with going out and boating, they definitely know a lot about Apache Lake or have heard of it, but it's pretty difficult to access. Now, many years ago, there was 2 different ways that you could access Apache Lake. One was from the west, and it was actually, you would take the road that you take now to get to Canyon Lake, and you continue through Tortilla Flat, and then it's kind of hard to see right now on the map, but there was a road that came all through here and came all the way up into the marina down in here at Apache Lake. Now, for I don't know how many years, but a very long time, that road has been completely washed out from floods and fires. So the only way to get into Apache Lake as of today is by coming up through up to Roosevelt Lake, and basically coming up here by the dam. And that's really the only way that you can get in these days. Now, they keep talking about fixing and repairing that road. And then, of course, here's the dam right here, Roosevelt Dam. And then you come up like you're going to the dam, and then you drop down in here, and then you take this road down into the marina. Now, the reason why that's there's a couple of reasons why that's challenging. For one, if you're coming from Phoenix, let me just zoom out here. So here's here's your Apache Junction up in here, Gold Canyon. So before, you could just come up through Canyon Lake. Where's Canyon at? Up through Canyon Lake, and then work your way up this way and get into Apache Lake. Now, because you can't get in from there, you have to come all the way around. Okay, so it's a very long drive compared to how it used to be. So that's one reason why accessing it's difficult. The other reason why it's difficult is because once you get there, Now you have about an 11 plus mile dirt road to combat going from the dam down into the marina. Now it's not all dirt. The first little bit is is paved, and then it gets into, semi. It's a dirt road, but it's kind of graded. But as you get closer in here, the road gets a little bit more rough, and and this road also is susceptible to lots of damage from floods and from fires. You can see all the washes that are coming through here. So this road will eventually take you down to this right here, which is the Apache Lake campground and the marina here. Um, and this is where you will launch your kayaks. Now, this dirt road, like I said, even though part of it's graded and it's semi-maintained, if there's a heavy rain or there's fires, this road's going to be closed. So you're not going to be able to get down there. So if you're planning a trip to Apache Lake, the week before you go, the days before you go, the day that you're planning on going, there's two different places that you can check for the status of the road. The first one is if you go to this website here, ApacheLake.com, and then they have a page here called The Road. And as you can see here, as of June 29th, you can see that they have an update on the road. So I do like to check here first, but let me show the other site that I like to use. So this is az511.com, and this is a really great site because it will give you all sorts of road conditions and closures that are going on around the whole state. So what I'll do is just come in here and find, let's see here, find Apache Lake. So the first one that's telling me is highway closed SR 88 westbound from 79, all lanes closed 3/6/20. Okay, so that was the last update. But this is the stretch of road that I know is going to be closed from Tortilla Flats down to the road that goes into the marina. So the road that I really want to check on is this one that's coming down from the dam up here. And it looks like that is green. Green means go. So everything looks good along there. So I know that this road will be open, that I'll be able to go and use this road. Everything should be fine. As you can see, it does slow down a little bit here, but that's just because it is, like I said, a dirt road and it gets rough. But if you're in a truck or some kind of vehicle with higher ground clearance, you'll be fine. And even in a car that you have a lot of confidence in, you'll be fine. But honestly, I would not push it. This road can get rough, and I wouldn't say remote, but you're definitely, you're definitely quite a ways away from any help. Especially, I mean, even considering there is a little, let me jump back to the map over here. At the top of the dam here, Roosevelt Lake up here is very heavily trafficked. There's a lot of activity here, and there is a little bit of a gas station and kind of a tackle shop / restaurant right over here. But again, I mean, even that's pretty far away from the next closest town with all sorts of, help and whatever you need. So, anyways, if you have a vehicle and you're not very confident in it, and you don't think it's going to do well on a dirt road, don't do it. Just don't do it. There's plenty of other lakes you can go to. But this is definitely a trip where you want to make sure that you're geared up, that everything, that you're all kind of dialed in as far as your vehicle is concerned. Okay, once you get down to the marina and you're ready to launch, I'm going to show you what I did. I'm going to show you where I camped and all the places that I explored. Now, again, I have not done a lot on this lake, and there's so many wonderful, cool areas you can explore, and I'm really looking forward to going back. So what I'm going to show you today is just a little glimpse and then everything that you could do. Um, I would do some searches online and find some things that other people have done as well if you're planning on doing your trip. I think you'll get a lot of really good tips. So we launched our kayaks from this dock right here, and then we left our car here, and we camped 2 nights. Now you will need an $8 Tonto parking pass, which you can purchase on gas stations on your way out there, and even that tackle shop that I showed you before, you can get a parking pass there. And then you also need a parking pass from the resort. So there's a Apache Lake resort right here, and this is their parking. Or actually, you know, it might be this building here, but they also charge a parking fee. I think it's like $10, and so you have to purchase a parking permit from them in addition to the Tonto parking pass. So we launched from this dock right here, and then we kayaked this direction. So we went west, and we came and we kind of hugged this shoreline along here. Now I had some younger kids with me, so we didn't go too far. So we actually camped in this spot right over here, and there's some really great camping kind of tucked back up into these trees back in here, and there's a lot of great as you can see here in the map, there's some good shoreline right here you can pull your kayaks up into. There's a fire ring here. There's even a picnic table, which was really cool. So that's where we went. It's really not that far from the dock, so let's just kind of pull a distance on this. So from the dock here, so just straight shot. Now, of course, we didn't go straight like that, but that is, you know, once you count on all the zigzagging of kayaks along the way, you know, and I think we kind of came down here and followed this. You know, you're about, once you kind of do all your zigzags, you're probably about 2.5 mile paddle. And if you just went straight shot, then yeah, you'd be a little over 1.5 miles. So really not that far. But like I said, I had some younger kids with me, so we didn't want to push it. Now we did notice that along here there were some campsites. I believe along here. I think there were even some. Maybe even over here there might have been some campsites. But if you're going to go to Apache Lake, just be prepared to do some exploring, because you know, the next day we paddled along here, and we had a hard time seeing if there were any other camping sites. And then these are all cliffs right here. We came back in here. There seemed like maybe you could camp back in here if you really wanted to. We came up into this washed out, or this wash right here, and it looked like there may have been some camping up on this point right here. So, you know, you're really going to be doing some searching. So give yourself some time. Have a couple of options available that you might want to check out. And that's kind of what we did. We looked at a map before we went out, and we thought, okay, well, let's check this spot over here. Let's check, you know, we were planning on checking over here if there was going to be any camping over there. And so just have a couple of different ideas before you head out, because this is a pretty remote area, and there are definitely signs of people doing camping and kayak camping out here, but not too many. Now, I have received some tips or some suggestions that back on this far end of the lake, there's some very incredible hiking, especially this area, Long Canyon. Now, I haven't done it. I can't speak to it. I'm not going to give you any advice or any pointers because I have no idea. But there was someone that I had met that had done some camping and some hiking back in this area, and he showed me some photos, and it was incredible. So I definitely want to get back and do Long Canyon. But that is pretty far paddle, so I definitely won't be bringing little kids with me on that one, and certainly bringing people that I feel are very experienced and you know, can kind of hold their own, because you know, this is pretty remote. I mean, you're a 12-mile dirt road down here to the marina. You're a 5-mile kayak back in here, and then you're kind of on your own. There's not a ton of boat traffic through here. It's not like a Canyon Lake or a Saguaro or a Roosevelt. There's really not a ton of boat traffic, so you really have to know what you're doing. You really have to feel comfortable out doing this kind of activity. We went in the fall, and it was a great time to be out there. It was nice and cool at night, but you had warmth during the day, which made the water and everything feel really nice and refreshing. And for me, that's what Apache Lake really is. It's a wonderful escape. If you like the solitude, the peace, the quietness, the excitement of kind of being, away from it all and sort of on your own, that's what Apache Lake really brings. And that's why it's really one of my most favorite places I've ever been, is just because you really get that seclusion that's really difficult to get these days in national parks and other areas that are very well populated. And so, anyways, that's Apache Lake. There's so much to explore here. I have only explored a little bit. I'm looking forward to doing more, but hopefully, some information that I've shared here with you will help you in planning your kayak camping trip out to Apache Lake.